Let's talk about grief. For some context, hi, my name is Gabby. I'm 22. I lost my mom a year and a half ago, and a really unique part of my grief journey has been my connection to the paranormal. Growing up, I was always drawn to all things dark and mysterious. I watched all the ghost hunting shows and started getting really into going to haunted places for myself. I now host a paranormal podcast and live in one of the most haunted towns in the world. So the paranormal is obviously a huge part of my life. There's truly nothing that excites me more, that evokes my creativity more, and just helps me feel like myself. Just getting out, exploring, investigating, just means the world to me. My mom and I spent a lot of time in Gettysburg over the years, just learning as much as we possibly could about its history and how to communicate with spirit. My I forget how many greats, grandfather was part of the 16th Pennsylvania Cavalry. So looking into our familial connection was really interesting. And he was part of the crew that came in afterwards to do cleanup and identify bodies, which just to think of it from the paranormal side and just to try to really understand the emotional and human aspect of witnessing the aftermath of such a bloody battle really made me feel connected to this place and inspired me to continue doing as much investigating as I can. And as much as I already loved and respected my mom, the paranormal, especially being in Gettysburg, showed me her curiosity and just this childlike wonder that she approached the world with, which, as an anxious overthinker who takes life way too seriously, that helped me. And it made this whole journey for us feel like divine timing and just this lesson that I can take from her, and I'm still trying to learn and embody in my life now. One of the hardest parts of grieving for me has been the pressure that I put on myself to grieve properly. And it sounds silly because I know that grief is such a complex thing and is so vastly different for every person that there is no right way of grieving. But I don't know, like just going through the holidays and being in this time in my grief when everything just kind of like setting in as reality, um I feel like I'm not doing it right. And I was telling my therapist this, and she looks at me, she's like, Gabby, you have this space that you just automatically feel connected to your mom. And not only is it something that you really enjoy and that brings you peace and helps you share your creativity, but it has helped you heal. It has helped you process death and loss, and it doesn't have to look like anybody else's grief to make it important. So I guess that's why I am making this video. Just to acknowledge that I'm in a space where a lot of us are here because we've experienced loss or because we have questions about death and humanity and trauma that, although we will likely never have solid answers around, it's incredibly helpful and healing to be in a place where we can be curious and we can ask questions. That alone just helps me feel connected to these things that feel so beyond me. And if you are watching this and you may be grieving somebody, I want you to know that you are not alone. I also know that hearing that doesn't always help and doesn't make anything different. But if I can do anything with this piece of my story, I want you to know that there is no right way of grieving, and you are doing the best you can, and that means something.